Meeting will come to order. This is a meeting of the Littlestown Area Board of School Directors. This is a meeting of the board taking place in the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. District residents who wish to address the board are required to sign up to provide public comment at least 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Public participation will occur only during the designated public comment portion of the agenda. Disruptions, interruptions, outbursts, or other disorderly conduct of any kind will not be tolerated. By attending and or commenting publicly in this meeting, you are consenting to the report of district's recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed for the convenience of the public. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. Mr. Shovik, would you please call it?
Nicole?
Here.
Lovell?
Here.
Jeannie Newman?
Here.
Wayne Sullivan?
Here.
Stephen Yerger?
Here.
Ronna Bayless?
Here.
Danielle Letterman?
Here.
Mary Brennan?
Here.
Janelle Wexler
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and honor the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any board acknowledgements or announcements? All right. I have one. Last week, I had the privilege once again to attend the FBLA State Leadership Conference. I'm not going to go into an extreme amount of detail because I'm sure Dr. Becker and Rebecca are going to be speaking about it as well. It's just a joy every year to see all of our Littlestown students and get the opportunity to go and experience what FBLA has to offer at the culminating event at the end of the year up in Hershey. And for this, Littlestown now has its second Pennsylvania FBLA state president in district history. So very exciting. Congratulations to Jonathan Lehigh. Congratulations to all of the students who qualified, placed in states and qualified for nationals to go to San Antonio, Texas this summer. So congratulations to our FBLA chapter that's known for being one of the best across the country. All right. We will move now to our student representative reports. I'm sure Rebecca will go into much more detail. We'll start with Ms. Williams at the high school.
Hello. Okay. So the high school theater is coordinating with the middle school theater on next year's musical schedule as we are transitioning to a single auditorium. Like having both varsity and JV sports teams, we believe both programs provide valuable opportunities for students and are committed to ensuring a smooth and effective collaboration. The Astronomy Club is excited for our final meeting of the year next month. We also enjoyed learning about Nebula's last meeting and making our own. Littlestown FBLA returned from a historic state leadership conference. John Lehigh was elected as our state president. He is only the second state president to serve from Littlestown and the first 3-time state officer in our chapter's history. John was also approved as a national officer candidate. The Littlestown FBLA chapter continues to shine in our state of over 300 chapters. The following chapter awards were received. First place in largest chapter contributions to state project, contributing $2,672.03. We also got first place per capita award for state project with $53.44 per member. We got third place in local chapter annual business report, 8th place in outstanding chapter award. Littlestown FBLA will be recognized this summer at the National Leadership Conference in San Antonio, Texas as a Gold Seal chapter. A few congratulations to a few of our students who placed. John Lehigh got first place in job interview. Vincent Canella and Peyton Unger got second place in web design. Connor Myers got second place in Big 33 hours with 1,023 hours of community service. Morgan Adams placed third in Future Business Leader. Alex Snipe placed 8th place in Supply Chain Management. Crystal Chen placed 10th in Fundamentals of Artificial Intelligence. We have 4 national competitors that are eligible to attend the National Leadership Conference this June 27th to July 3rd in San Antonio, Texas. And a special congratulations to our National Business Honor Society inductees, Connor Myers and Annalisa Stanball. And that's all.
Any questions from the board for Rebecca?
Great Boston trip.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, now to Faith from the middle school.
Hi, here's what's happening in May. We are currently in the middle of our Pride Guided Courage. Courage is being brave when facing new or difficult circumstances. All students participated in a lesson about courage in their social studies classes. We have our next Pride Reward Day, the last week of school. All eligible students will enjoy our yearly carnival. Last week was our April Spirit Week. We had Pajama Day, Neon Day, Wacky Wednesday, Spring Floral Day, and Disney Day to celebrate our cast and crew of Beauty and the Beast Jr. This week we are selling tickets for our rec night, which will be held this Friday. Students will have access to an open gym and a Western themed dance with a $5 admission fee. Next week we will have our spring donut hunt. Students can buy a candy-filled egg for $1 with hope to find a ticket for a free donut inside. Thank you and have a great night.
Great, thank you so much, Faith. Any questions from the board?
I would just like to make a comment. I've been watching. You're doing very well. You're getting more comfortable. Good job. Congratulations. Beautiful job.
All right, thank you so much, Faith. All right, we are pleased to have with us this evening Mr. Sean Eckenrode, the Executive Director of the Adams County Technical Institute, to give the board an update. So, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak before you this evening. And thank you for putting me early in your agenda, as I have double duty tonight. I have to get up to Gettysburg School Board meeting right after this. So some updates for you. The first one, I know it's on your agenda this evening to consider the 26-27 Adams County Technical Institute budget. So you all have this packet with you. The second page is just some description of what makes up this budget and what may make it different from previous budgets. And I won't read all of those to you. I'm sure you've all reviewed that already. I would like to say, though, that over the past 5 or 6 years that we've really been talking about career and technical education in Adams County, you might have heard some people say that Adams County was the only county in Pennsylvania that didn't build a technical school 50 years ago. You didn't hear that from me because I know that to not be true. There were actually about 6 or so counties that did not build a tech school 50 years ago. Most of those counties are up in the Allegheny Mountains where there's 1 or 2 people per square mile, and it doesn't make sense to build a tech school. 2 of those counties, though, are in the Poconos, Wayne County and Pike County. Fairly small counties. The largest school district up there is Wallen-Paulpack School District, and it actually is partly in Wayne County and partly in Pike County. But they didn't build a tech school 50 years ago, but they are now kind of doing what we are doing. They're trying to build a tech school for both Pike and Wayne County. Wallen-Paulpack School District is leading the charge, and there are 2 other school districts that are involved in the project. Because we're kind of doing the same thing, I've spoken to the superintendent of Wallen-Paulpack School District a few times over the last few years, and in one of our conversations, he asked me, what would I do differently if I had to do this all over again? Meaning separate the tech prep programs from Gettysburg School District and form Adams County Technical Institute. And I had to think about it for a second, but my answer was, I would have made sure we had the right number of people to run a school in place before we started ACTI. When we started ACTI, it originally was just me. I convinced the superintendents and school districts to let me hire an assistant to help me start the school, so we did that. After 1 year of operation, and I should say that that very first year we separated all student information functions and all financial operations, we separated that from Gettysburg School District. Basically everything except payroll and benefits administration. So after the first year, we decided that 2 people wasn't quite enough to run a school, so we hired another assistant. And as we grew and you know, became more of a separate school entity, we took on payroll and benefits from Gettysburg School District, and we decided we need one additional person. So the school now is run by 2 administrators, me and an assistant director, and then 2 ladies who work in the business office, who do everything from PIMS reports to payroll, benefits administration, budgeting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and just think about all of the stuff that your district has to do with state reporting and all of that. So ACTI, I still feel is run with a very small staff, but I feel that this budget gets us to the point finally where we have enough people to do it without stressing everybody out and making people want to go find jobs somewhere else. So as I was talking to the Wallen-Paulpack School District Superintendent, that was my answer to him. If I could do this all over again, I would have made sure from the beginning that we had all the folks in place that we needed. I feel that this budget finally gets us to that point. So you'll see some personnel increases in this budget. Another piece of this budget is over the past 5 years at least, we've had twice as many allied health students applied than we could take. So this budget adds that full-time second allied health teaching position for the entire school year coming up, and we're able to serve 20 additional students with that second allied health teacher. We could probably serve a few more, but we have 42 students crammed into one classroom and one small lab. I also feel that this budget sets a solid foundation for growth for Adams County Technical Institute. With the 2 administrators in place now, that's going to allow the new director the time that he needs to go out and work on expanding ACTI and the number of students that we can serve in our communities. Our new assistant director that we hired last summer is fully capable of running the school without the director there all the time. I don't want to talk too much, so are there any questions on the budget, any specific questions from the board about the budget?
Questions from the board?
Sean?
Yes, sir.
I'm very familiar with the operation. As you know, I used to
Right.
be GSC representative.
Mhm.
I went through the numbers on your budget. To be honest with you, you're only talking about, to me, $55,000 increase roughly for the whole year.
Mhm.
And I dwindled that down to per quarter, which is $13,753 per student. You know, you're under $900 per student. If we say we're sending 62 of our students there, so that's 800 and some, almost 900. It's not a big amount, because I do know when I was over there, we had discussions about this. If you're running this as a off-grid school,
As a what?
as a school that's separated from
Yes,
the rest.
yes,
And
we
so
are.
it would be like us.
Mhm.
So you have all that stuff you got to take care of, the same as we do here.
Yes, sir.
So looking at your budgeting, looking at your increase, that seems very reasonable to me, considering what you're doing. If you break it down, it just seems very reasonable. I mean, you're talking about healthcare costs going up tentatively 15%. That's reasonably understandable. And looking over the figures, I didn't see anything, because I went down through it. I didn't see anything that was out there that I had concerns about. I mean, to be honest with you, it looked pretty reserved to me. 55,000 increase for a year for our district is, to me, it's just not a whole lot compared to what it could have been,
Mhm.
considering your costs.
No questions? No questions?
Well, I'm just reaffirming that to him what I'm saying is true, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board?
So when we did the addendum, or if that's what it's called.
Budget
the
amendment, yes.
Amendment, our portion was like 19.88%, or something like that, and now it's 14.88, so what happened, how did we drop 5%?
That changes, if you go to the very last page there, Mr. Schubach. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the very last page here, this shows
Yeah, 14.
how our budget is divided among the participating districts. And the top couple rows here, we have it's all formula driven, and it's partly based on your percentage of the high school population in Adams County among our 5 participating districts.
Right.
So we look at grades 9 through 12, just kind of even things out, even though we only serve 11 to 12th graders. We look at grades 9 through 12 to kind of smooth out any fluctuations in class size. That's 20% of the overall formula. 80% of the overall formula is based on the number of students you actually send to ACTI over the past 3 years. So the current year and the 2 previous years, we average that out and we get a percentage, and then that's 80% of the overall formula. So, yeah, if you look at Littlestown School District, the overall formula result for the next school year is 20.87%.
Is that because of the new allied health, we're gonna have more students in that?
Overall, let's see, your student population went from 52 in 23-24 to 58.9 in 24-25, and then 62 this school year. So yes, we are serving more students from Littlestown School District overall. The 14.88% up there in the upper left, I'm not sure if that changed from last year or not. I have to pull those numbers.
So we've actually went from like 19 to 20.87.
Right. And that will fluctuate a little bit from year to year based on those 2 factors.
Other questions from the board? Ms. Bayless?
I think that the challenge that you might be experiencing is the fact that you're trying to run a whole school from individual amounts of students from the different districts, and you don't have necessarily the staffing ratios that a regular school district has. So that's why it's so challenging, and also I believe it's going to increase your costs for things that you're purchasing, because you don't have necessarily the ability to get the contracts that a larger school system would get. So that's going to increase your costs.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think when I look at your numbers and I study them, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it is an increase, but I don't think it's that bad of an increase. For example, your medical went up, or you're basing your medical to go up 15%.
Right.
Whereas I think we're only looking right now at our medical going up at about 10%, roughly. I mean, it's all fluid, so that could change. But, and I think you probably have to look at a higher number for your medical, a higher percentage for your medical, because you're such a smaller organization. So you're not going to get the better prices for medical costs, dental costs, vision, etc. Overall, I think with that in mind, I think that your increases are fairly reasonable. I mean, nobody likes increases, but I think the best it could be, I think you've done a really good job, and I personally will be supporting it. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
like I said, I feel like this sets a good foundation for us and gets us to the point.
Well, not only that, but bottom line, in my opinion, bottom line, your facility teaches our students that go there and are accepted to go there and study, teaches them whatever trade that they're interested or goes into, to the point where when they graduate, they'll be able to get out and get a job.
Right.
Okay? That is fantastic. I truly wish we could say the same. I don't think we can, but I wish we could. From what I know about trade schools and career tech centers, they're awesome, and we need more of them across this country. But anyway, I'll give you my support on the budget. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Wait, I don't think anybody has a problem with ACTI in its current form. I think our issue is going forward with building. That's where it's going to be more a bigger deal for everybody.
But I understand that, but I don't think that's what we're talking about.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just, I don't think anybody has a problem with ACTI.
There's no more questions. We're going to let Mr. Eckenberg go so you can get together. So,
Okay. Any other general questions for me before?
Doesn't sound like Anthony had any questions, so you got off easy tonight.
Okay.
Just
I'll take it.
just supportive comments.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
your
much.
retirement, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Becker.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So, difficult to believe, but we're quickly approaching the final month of the school year. And while much has been accomplished so far this year, there's still a great deal to be done between now and the end of May. Our teaching staff continues to do an outstanding job preparing the students for a variety of upcoming challenges. So they would include things such as our Keystone exams next month. We start NOCTI testing tomorrow. We have AP exams that will be taking place next month, among other things that are occurring. I'd like to sincerely thank all the staff for their dedication, and a lot of great things are happening at the high school, and you're seeing increased improvement in their performance. I would like to recognize the counseling teams at both the high school and the middle school. So along with administration, we are making excellent progress in scheduling for our shared building next year. I know I'm not going to spend too much time because I know Kara is going to speak to that a little bit as well. So this is a significant undertaking, and we are well on track for a smooth transition, in my opinion, in August, I guess. And we have been working together very well, and it's going very well, and I'm impressed by how folks are working together in the office. We spent a lot of time talking about it, and that's great, the FBLA members and their impressive performance at the state conference. So I do want to make sure I give a shout out and thanks to Mr. Scott Stahl and Dr. Lena Lewis as their very, very much tireless efforts as advisors. And also like to extend that special recognition to John Lehigh for being elected the state president, and wish him the best in his pursuit of that national office that was stated earlier. Finally, for me, Wednesday is Administrative Professionals Appreciation Day. So I personally would like to give a thank you to Lisa Krause, Natalie Stuffel, and Mel Meekin for everything that they do in our building to keep it running smoothly. It simply would not function without them being there and doing the things they do, and their efforts are truly appreciated every day. That is my report. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Dr. Becker. All right. Ms. Glass.
So good evening. It's my first time being in front of you all this year, so it's good to see you. I'm going to read over some things Ms. Golden had shared for me to present for you tonight, and then a couple of additives. So over the past several weeks, our administrative team has been focused on two critical areas: preparing for the successful administration of the PSSA assessments and building a strong student-centered secondary schedule for the upcoming school year. In terms of PSSA prep, our efforts have centered on organization, consistency, and student readiness, and we have worked closely with teachers to ensure that testing protocols are clear and that schedules minimize disruptions to instruction while maintaining a calm, structured environment for students. We've also emphasized the importance of maintaining a positive tone to support students in doing their best without creating unnecessary pressure. Our goal is to ensure that the results accurately reflect student growth and strong instructional work happening in our classrooms. At the same time, as Mr. Becker said, we have been deeply engaged in the secondary scheduling process. This work goes beyond simply placing students into courses. This requires thoughtful alignment of student needs, graduation requirements, staffing, and of course availability. We've been prioritizing access to core instruction, intervention supports, and opportunities for enrichment, while also working to balance class sizes and maximize staff expertise. It is a complex process, but one that has a direct impact on student success and the overall functioning of the school. And I'll say this is my first time being involved really in the scheduling, and it is mind-boggling, but it's the biggest puzzle I've ever seen in my life, and I love it. Both of these efforts reflect our continued commitment to intentional planning and high expectations, and as we move forward, we will continue refining these systems to best support our students and staff. I do want to give a shout out to our MAMS musical that happened on Friday and Saturday. I was at both events, and the students did a wonderful job. And then that's a shout out to Ms. Green and Ms. Esker who directed that musical. And then also for administrative assistants, I'd like to recognize Beth Williams and Heather Smith at the Maple Avenue building for all their hard work, and we really could not run that office without them. Okay.
Any questions from this class? Thank you so much. Mr. Moran?
So two things I will echo what my colleague said, Nate and
Kara. Everything that they reported, I would echo that the same that ACES. So just from that standpoint, without me getting into the testing and all that. Same thing, just to acknowledge the agree our secretaries. No building runs without the efficiency of our secretaries. So again, a shout out to Ms. Clark, Ms. Dodson, and Ms. Topper down at the elementary school that do a fabulous job. And again, can't really survive without them. So we appreciate truly what they do on a regular basis. That goes unnoticed. So, but tonight I'm really going to focus on the pilot. So that's really where I'm going to spend my time here for a couple minutes and walk through the process that we've used and some feedback of some short-term things of where we're at as we come into the last couple months of school. So just a quick reminder, these are things that you know, but I think it's important to just to remind us, set the stage for tonight and in our future meeting. We did identify 2 research-based resources, Wonders into Reading, that does meet state standards and expectations that we're piloting. We did start out with an initial committee of 12 people in that process, and that's expanded to 18 members of our school team to be on that committee reviewing those resources. We do have 2 teachers at each grade level that's piloting, so one teacher is doing Wonders, and the other teacher in that grade level is doing Into Reading, so we're representation there. We meet weekly to update, discuss what's going on in relation to the pilot. We've had the opportunity to visit 2 schools, so we went and visited a school that was going Into Reading, and we went to visit a school that was doing Wonders, so we've had a chance to do that as well. We have completed our 6-week pilot with the 2 programs with our staff and students. The completion of that was at the end of last week, so we're now moving to the next phase of our discussions. We are surveying our students to gather feedback specifically for 3 to 5 from the students themselves. The K-2 world will gather that information and then bring that back to us as well. As each teacher is sort of completing a self-reflection and analysis of the resource they piloted, so that's been an expectation of what they do. Then that turns into a grade level sharing between the 2 teachers reflecting and then analyzing what they have learned about each of the programs that they've been piloting. Then we're bringing that committee, Dr. Berrigan and myself are bringing that committee back together on May 6th to have another face-to-face meeting to where we're really going to dig into and see where we land with what we've learned. Again, we continue to review and answer any of our outstanding questions from the pilot. And then the ultimate goal, as we've spoken many times this year, is to bring that resource to you as a school board and ask you to adopt it for the 26-27 school year for that. So that's sort of our process of where we're at. A little summary of those, and again, when I speak of these key points, it's referring to both programs. I do think we're fortunate that we have identified 2 programs that will meet our needs. So now it's really coming to terms with which program best fits our needs, from our student-teacher perspective. So students across all grade levels show strong positive responses to both programs, so we're very happy about that. Students and their engagement experiences are indicating they enjoy having some of the consumable workbooks and materials that they can annotate, highlight, and write directly into text. So that's been a positive change for them from the past. Students report feeling organized and engaged with the structured pieces and the interconnected lessons. So again, they're feeling good about what they've received. Our teachers, benefits for our teachers, there's been a significant time saving for them. The teachers are spending less time on searching for resources to support the learning and more time on the actual instructional piece of that, which again has been our goal all along, is for teachers to be in the application stages of that. Teachers, both programs are well organized, they're research-based in structure, so we feel very confident in what is being shared. All the materials are easily accessible, and the lessons are really systematically sequenced. So again, it brings that connection that we're looking for from an instructional standpoint. The integrated approach was about grammar, vocabulary, phonics, comprehension. They're woven throughout the units, throughout the lessons, rather than taught in isolation. And so again, it's bringing those components together and teaching them throughout the year rather than in isolation. 2 weeks we're going to teach grammar, and now we're moving on. grammar is going to be something that's part of the entire school year, okay, for them. And then obviously the resources come with lesson plans and materials that allow us to speed up our preparation part, so we don't have to look for that information. It's there, but it also allows us to be flexible and pivot those as needed to meet our students' needs. What academically are we seeing short term? Again, keep in mind we've done a 6-week pilot, so when I share this, but the feedback's coming back is improved fluency and comprehension being reported, especially down in their K-1 grade levels. They've really enjoyed the opportunity to work with some of the decodables that have came. So again, that's been a positive. Stronger writing responses and students' confidence in discussing their text. Again, the things that we're looking for to evaluate in a program core resource. Growth of their vocabulary, and that's connected back to the way it's spiraled, the vocabulary in the review, and then it's connected across multiple texts. So again, it's not taught in isolation. It continues to cross over. One that is a challenge, but I think it's a good challenge. It is rigorous. It is challenging, and the grade level appropriate text has really challenged our students and really to extend themselves in their learning, which again is a very positive thing as well. The final piece here I just would want to share tonight is some things that seem to be strengths associated with the two programs, or the two resources, I should say. Again, the materials are allowing and keeping students organized. We're not really having to work through that losing items or losing things, so it's helping. The digital components are also a positive piece. They're engaging and helping to provide differentiation for our students. There's a certain excitement that's there about physical text, so it's something that they can put in their hands and tangibly touch. That's increasing their students' interest, and those texts and those stories are from published books. So again, the kids will be able to connect that to their interests. And really what we love the most is that everything is connected. And whether that's mentor text, grammar examples, vocabulary, writing assignments, they're all aligning with each other to what the kids are doing and obviously what the teachers are presenting. So again, that creates that win-win situation that we're looking for. And the final thing I would just really say, and I think we're fortunate to be in the situation that we're in right now, is we have the opportunity that both programs show strong student engagement and the opportunity to improve academic outcomes. So I don't want to say we're in a no-lose situation, but the success of both and the early returns on that has given us confidence that we have two good resources to select from. Now it's really getting down to which is better for us and which is going to move us forward. It's sort of that collaborative buy-in and that collaborative effort. So that'll sort of conclude my report for tonight on the pilot. Obviously, there's a lot more that we want to share and we will be sharing in a future meeting, but that just gives you a little highlight, a little taste of what we have been doing down at the elementary school, and I'll open it to any questions that anyone has.
Questions for Mr. Rand? Mrs. York?
Did the pilot programs include homework?
Yes, in some situations. Now, again, one of those things I continue to in the pilot was, again, the ability of the parent to be able to help the child, because again, not being something we've been doing all year with them, but during this, so we were very selective in what we did send home, but yes, there was homework that was assigned for students to take home or finish for them.
Did you say it includes spelling?
Yes, spelling is a component and part of both resources, yes.
Other questions? Thank you, Mr. Woody.
All right, thank you.
We now recognize members of the public who have signed up to provide comment as stipulated in policy 903. When your name is called, please approach the podium and state your name, confirm you are a resident or taxpayer in the district, and your topic of discussion for the record. Public comment is limited to matters of district business only. Comments that are not relevant to district business and is or may be before the board will be suspended. All statements shall be directed to the board as a whole, not to an individual board member or administrators, and comments will be limited to 5 minutes or less. Privilege to speak may be interrupted, revoked, or recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker fails to adhere to board policy or does not observe reasonable decorum in order of conduct. Thank you. Your first speaker is Jody Bunty.
My name is Jody Bunting. I am a graduate of Littlestown myself, the year 2000. I had 2 boys graduate in 2019, 2021, freshmen currently, and a 2-year-old that'll be coming up the ranks. I've never been to a board meeting. This is all new to me. Just found out about the board meeting this morning through the secretaries at the high school because I have some concerns and they had to listen to me vent. And they suggested I come to y'all. Within the last month and a half, we've had 2 incidents with my daughter who does have medical issues where there has not been a nurse on site. This may be old news, but I need to come to you all with my concerns that my daughter, who already has issues, her attendance has, thank God the high school has worked with us because of these medical issues, but we're struggling to keep her in school. And when there's not a nurse on site to address her concerns, or I have to step away from my job, which I'm in a very busy industry, in a very busy company, and try to track her down between schools, I think that's completely unacceptable. I know there's a lot going on with the buildings transitioning, but my daughter has an issue with she's passed out. She has a blood disorder where the oxygen and iron is not being moved. We're going to pediatric hematology in Hershey at the end of this month. Took us over 4 months to get this appointment to hopefully get some answers. But if my daughter's walking down the stairs, and she's very good at recognizing when she's due to pass out, but if she passes out and falls down a set of stairs and there's no nurse on site, how is that being handled? How is that not a concern for everybody here that our children do not have a nurse on site? I don't understand whether it's a budgeting issue, and again, this is my first board meeting ever. So I would love any feedback, and I even have been talking to some of the board members. I'd love to be educated on what happens here and what gets discussed. And I plan on trying to be a regular attendee. Again, having a 2-year-old at home, so I can't stay for the whole meeting tonight, because again, I found out about this at 9 a.m. But the nurses don't deserve to listen to me complain. Or the secretaries, Mrs. Rummel doesn't need to listen to me complaining. I'm going to complain to you guys. And I need to know how my daughter is going to be protected. And just not only the fact that it could be a legal issue for the school. You know, I'm an understanding parent. There's not all parents that are understanding that if their child's hurt and there's no nurse on site, that can become a legal issue as well for the school. Mm-hmm. How do we fix this? How do we handle this? And I understand the schools are going to be merging come the fall, again, if it happens, considering the fact that I'm pretty sure it was supposed to happen this past fall. But 2 nurses to all these children, and everybody needs a vacation. Do we have backup other than a volunteer? Do we have a plan going forward to rectify this situation? So that's my questions, that's my concerns. Friends, help me out.
Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Lisa Rummel.
So my name's Lisa Rummel. I am one of the LPNs right now. I'm the only LPN, along with an RN. An LPN is a licensed practical nurse. RN is registered nurse, just in case anybody has any questions. I am currently at Maple Avenue, but I have been with the district for 16 years. I was 13 years up at the high school. I'm here on behalf of so-called the nurse department, more so myself and Ida, Mrs. Bushless. She is the nurse, the RN at the elementary building, but she is not able to be here. We have been short an LPN at ACES since early spring last school year, but officially since this past September. This has been a very big strain on the nurses, and it impacts not just the students, but staff, secretaries, and more. Our secretaries are having to kind of help out and feed when kids are there, when they need to be seen. helping us try to call parents if we can't be at that building and say someone gets actively sick and the teacher sends them up. They're calling us, letting me know, hey, somebody got sick, and we're saying, okay, go ahead and call their parents, let them know what happened. In January, the board graciously increased the support LPN starting rate to help us attract applicants. If you don't know about schools, please know that it is almost impossible to get sub-nurses these days. A lot of people can't survive off of just being called up when someone calls out sick. And on top of that, we can't get LPNs to apply to our school. So we asked for an increase in that pay to get us kind of comparable to other schools. And I do thank you for voting for that. But the position is still empty. And then in March, early March, the RN, Mrs. Bushless, had to go out of work because of a medical leave. So that left Nurse Costello and myself having to try to run 3 buildings with very limited, often once a week help from a sub-nurse. When one nurse is at Alloway Creek all day because of the high volume and need of those students, the other nurse is running between the high school and the middle school. It is nonstop because of the amount of diabetics that we have at the elementary building, medicines, illness, and injuries. We thank Mrs. Brennan for helping 2 times volunteering, but even that, she is limited in her nursing skills there because she can't get into our Sapphire computer system. That's where everybody's weight is to give them dosing for medicine, knowing if they are somebody that comes down frequently, what we've been doing with that student. All that information is in the Sapphire system, and she's kind of up against a wall because she can't use the Sapphire system. But we are thanking her because she's gotten us out of 2 binds already. Kim and I are very tired. We are keeping our professionalism as best we can. We are trying to do whatever we can to be more efficient and trying to be in the buildings as much as we can. I can get down to the middle school and I get a phone call and I gotta go right back up to the high school. We are very concerned. As Nurse Bushless is, we try to keep in contact with her while she's out. We're afraid something's gonna happen when we're not present in one of the buildings. Obviously that is our big concern. And yes, it can be a legal issue. At the last finance meeting, it was proposed to cut the LPN position that has been empty at ACES because after merging grades 6 through 12, that nurse wouldn't be needed. But as I stand here today, and trust me, I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel that this was very important. When we merge the schools, we will not decrease the amount of work needed to see students and staff when ill or injured, and the amount of time and it takes for medications that need to be given daily. We are seeing approximately 40 and 50 kids a day at Alloway Creek with one nurse. And let me tell you, I did 51 kids on a Friday and I went home and felt numb after that. Each school year we are seeing more students with serious illnesses. Next year we will have 9 diabetics in grades 6 through 12, multiple students with seizures, cardiac issues, asthma, POTS syndrome, and so many other issues. The students require more nursing attention and support daily. Enrollment goes up and down all school year. Cyber students come and they go. The nurses still have the same amount of health screenings, physicals, data entry, dentals, immunizations to monitor, flu clinics to arrange, multiple letters and phone calls to complete to parents. We know all schools are trying to cut budgets, but at what cost do we decrease the safety for our students and staff and continue to burn out our current and future nurses? I hope that we as a district and community can find other ways to decrease waste and spending in the district. Thank you very much.
Your time is expired. Thank you for your comments. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the board meeting minutes 1 through 4?
So moved.
Motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Yerger.
Okay. Can we just run down into the I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
release the donation separately, so you can.
Good one, Clay.
Anybody else have anything to pull from their finance?
Yeah. Want to pull C, F, G, I, 1, 4. Did you say F, G, C, F, and G? And the I, 1, 4.
Okay. Recommend approval for item B, item D, item E, item 8.
I have a motion on the floor to approve finance, property, and supply items B, D, E, and H. Do I have a second?
Second, Daniel Berman.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Okay, item A, recommend approval for the following donations anonymous.
I have a,
Aye.
yeah, we'll do all three.
Yeah.
Yeah, A1, 1, 2. I have a motion on the floor to approve items A1 through 3. Do I have a second?
Second, Mary Brown.
Any discussion?
Just want to say thank you to all our donors, especially the anonymous one, who does it now twice a month.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Item C, recommend approval of the ACES teacher non-floor replacement with trunk floor covering approved by capital projects.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the ACES teacher lounge floor replacement as an approved capital project already. Do I have a second?
Second, Mary Brown.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Item F, recommend approval for the renewal of the water treatment by Design LLC for July 1, 2026, 2027.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the water treatment by Design LLC contract renewal. Do I have a second?
Second, Daniel Berman.
Any discussion?
Tom, you said this was, regular every year, right?
Yes, it is an annual agreement.
Did we decide to, ask them to include any changes in the contract, since we saw it at the work session?
I believe it was decided we're not pursuing the changes last meeting.
Even though our attorney said it would be good to clean up that contract?
I thought because we buy the salt, we don't have to worry about that language. They're not supplying it, we're buying it ahead of time.
We can say whatever we want, but
we've always.
if push comes to shove and it goes to court, they decide on the contract. That's one was written.
In the off chance that we run out of salt and they decide to take us to court for asking them for salt that we would pay them for, I think it will be okay. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Okay.
The ayes have it, the motion carries.
G, recommend approval for the emergency responder radio communications systems, Labor Inc. and BCom Telecommunications, the MS&HS project.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the emergency responder radio communication system. Do I have a second?
Second, Mary Brown.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Russell.
Tom.
Yeah.
Was this, you said the money's in the FFE.
So FFE would stand for furniture, fixtures, and equipment, so this would fall under the same category we kind of did with the med ed that came through, I believe, a year ago, where it's outside the scope of the original, but there is some money left over to cover this cost. Just some background on that, since it's new. The responder is to help emergency responders who would come into an emergency situation at the middle school, high school, to be able to radio out. Currently, about 70% of the building would not allow them to radio out. So this would have a repeater and be able to radio outside in case of emergency.
Okay, so originally when they started the project of the middle school, high school, project, I know there was a discussion, because I brought up many times about needing a repeater. Was this ever brought up during the original bid of the building?
Yes, so there was originally an alt add to the project. Per the recommendation of our architect, they were not sure if it was going to be needed or not, so at the time we decided to wait and see if it was needed. Now that we've done the study and got the report, it is now needed, and it's an opportunity of the board to now re-add that back in within the scope of work.
And on such short notice, was that bid out in any respect?
That's through Lobar, so Lobar is a prime contractor with electrical. They would sub that out, and Research Subs, BCom was the selected, and then that goes to, it would be the very same similar nature of the regular change order.
Any other questions?
I do.
Ms. Bayless?
So, I wanna get this straight. I have no problem with the reason why we need this money, reason why we need to approve this and move forward for the purpose of the repeater, okay? But it's how we're paying for it and how we're going about getting the money to pay for this is wrong, in my opinion. This was an ad alternate to a project that was started many years ago. And so are we gonna use this FFE, is that part of our contingency fund?
Yeah, it's all part of the soft costs, the change orders, professional contracts, and furniture, would encompass the soft costs, so yes.
So it's part of the contingency?
Yes.
So contingency funds are meant to be used for unforeseen expenses that come up when you're building a project. It's not for something that could have been identified in the beginning as not sure whether we needed it, not sure whether we could afford it. There was a lot of things in this high school project, there was a lot of things that were originally identified that they thought in the beginning that we weren't going to be able to afford them, and so they were cut from the project before the project started. And then since when the project did start and progress through its build out, as we got closer to the end, when we had identified money in the contingency fund, some of our contingency, and please correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Because you're our numbers guy and you do have the information. So in our contingency fund, when it was realized that we had additional monies in the contingency fund to pay for some of these other things that were originally identified that we wanted them or needed them, but were taken out because of the cost, and then getting through the project, the date of the project and the build out, then some of these things were added back in. And apparently this is one of them that was added back in?
So this has been, I would say, months in the works from the report about how to get this repeater. So it was identified long ago. I don't remember when that was, several months. It just took this long to get a contract in place with the company. So I believe it was always since the report that the majority of the building was not covered. It was something administration felt to recommend to the board and now approve from those contingency funds. It's up to the board to decide if that's something they still wish to pursue.
I understand that, but contingency funds, like I said before, this is just a fact. This is not my opinion. Contingency funds are meant for cost overruns for items that come in at a much higher expense or cost than originally was foreseen. For example, we had the med ed situation. We budgeted for med ed, but when med ed came back, it was like double or triple, what have you. In other words, a lot more money than we had originally planned. We don't have a choice. We needed med ed, we need electricity. You can't run a school without electricity. So, that's something that you have to have. This was originally in there, but it was taken out. And then when we got towards the end of this build out, because now we have identified money, we can put it back in. That's not really how you're
No,
supposed to.
this is
That's not what
a
it says.
PA, if I could speak a little bit about this, I know a little.
Okay.
But this is PA code compliance with the building. When you look at a project, I'm sure what you're trying to speak to is the fact that would an architect be able to sit here and tell you that we might have deficiencies with signal strength in this project? And if so, would they put a line within the budget for that? But this is part of the building project. As the building then is completed, they go in and do tests in the facility to see what type of frequency strength you have with regards to the 800 megahertz radios that state and Adams County local and Littlestown Police Department utilize and our first responders utilize from that perspective. Yes, I don't know where at the beginning of a project where that money in that line is placed or not placed, but it's not that now we have the money, we can pay for the system or we can put the system in. The system needs to be in place in any public facility.
Just like Dr. Aaron said, the report came out after the building was built. It was always, the report was always going to happen as part of the project. What wasn't part of the project, we weren't sure if the repeater was needed for signal strength.
And how much of a system is needed? Well, it's only needed maybe for this section, and that's part of the building process and understanding, okay, what do we have now through the tests that occurred a month or two ago with regards to this, and what type of system then to comply with code would we need to have in place?
I get it. I understand. And I'm not opposed to the fact that we need a repeater. I'm very familiar with repeaters. So I understand that. It's the fact that how we're paying for it. Okay, that's my problem. I have no problem with the actual item in question, but it's how we're paying for it. I think it's wrong.
How would you like us to pay for it?
Well, I think it should have been planned. If it was identified as an original item to be included in the high school when the feasibility study came through in the beginning, and then it was identified that the total feasibility study was too expensive for the price of the building that we had in place to build.
See, I think you're misunderstanding. From my understanding of Dr. Mailer and Mr. Shoemaker, the reason why it wasn't in there was because it wasn't determined whether or not it was going to be needed.
To what
until
extent
after
as
the
well
report.
too, right.
So now that it's been determined that it's needed, that's the reason why it's being done at this point.
Correct. It was advised that based off of the preliminary, they weren't sure if we were ever going to need a repeater or just small capabilities. Now they've identified that the majority of the building cannot accommodate. So now it's a full repeater system, and that's what's in front of the board.
So then my recommendation would be to put it at the top of the list of the capital improvements. Financially and fiscally, it's our responsibility to use the taxpayer money fiduciarily responsible, okay? It doesn't give us authorization to use contingency funds on an item that wasn't previously planned for. I mean, I understand that we didn't know if we were gonna need it, et cetera, back and forth, but maybe it should go on capital improvement, right at the top for our capital improvement plan.
Mr. Shoemaker, is there any, the contingency funds are district funds just as much so as the capital reserve?
That's not the
funds,
point.
correct?
They're specifically, contingency funds are supposed to be specifically used for items that come up that are unexpected, that exceed the amount of money that we originally thought an item was gonna come in, like Met Ed.
Obviously,
It's okay, we can agree, we can disagree, it's fine, no problem there.
I'm just trying to help you understand, but I just don't think we're gonna get there. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Opposed.
The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Recommend approval for I, 2, and 3.
I have a motion on the floor to approve I, for 2 and 3. Is there a second?
Second, Daniel
Oh,
Roden.
sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. You guys have it, motion carries.
Okay. Item I, item 1.
Have a motion on the floor to approve general fund checks. Do I have a second?
Second, Mary Brennan.
Any discussion?
Sorry.
Mr. Sal?
Thank you. I have a big problem with the zero turn mower, the cumulative. I mean, I saw that you had it in your next year's budget, but it looks like we're paying for it already in March.
That's a different zero turn mower.
So we're buying 2 of them?
One of our current mowers does not work anymore, so we have to provide a replacement within this current budget. Within the budget narratives for next year, Mr. Trone is requesting an additional mower to help facilitate his mowing capabilities here this year. So it's two separate mowers. One's in current operation now and needed right now for current operations, and one would be to help supplement future operations.
Okay, question. What if we estimate to just come out?
For which portion?
Buy this mower?
That's part of every administrator's obligation is within their budget. As needs arise, they can move money to transfer as long as they don't go over their originally allotted amount from the board. So that's under their purview to move that money, so see to their department. So Mr. Trone moved enough money to cover his mower from other expenditures within his budget to accommodate that.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. This is almost $18,000. If he moved this money in within his own budget, I get that. We're either giving him too much when we budget him, or he's gonna be short somewhere else. That's my point.
That's something I work with him constantly on in every department leader. Not atypical every year. What he does have is he has a general repairs budget. So within those repairs, he has, at any given year, could be overrun because of the repairs, and any given year could be short. This year was identified that those repairs budgets were best needed to be allocated towards a mower.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say no.
Opposed.
You guys have it, motion carries.
Motion on the floor for I4.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second, Mary Brennan.
Any discussion?
I see under capital project,
Mr. Sal?
okay. I see under the capital projects, we have 2 payouts here. It looks like for the athletic project. We have a $15,000 one, athletic improvements. We have a $6,528 and reset one. Now, I recognize Brian.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one doing the feasibility or the initials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the 15,000 included in the original 89,000 you said it was going to be?
So that's for electrical capabilities for the scoreboard. We needed a contracting services to help facilitate that, to make sure we had all the electric capabilities for baseball and softball to accommodate scoreboards.
Okay, so that was for the school board, the scoreboard project, okay. So it wasn't part of this athletic.
It is. I'm saying is that it was identified we were looking to have scoreboards at the baseball and softball fields. The softball in particular has no electric capabilities at the field. We needed to figure out how we get service there, how we can run lines, and you need a consultant there to make sure you have the right amperage and everything to accommodate those scoreboards.
So is the 15,000 included in the 89,000 you projected?
Yes.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Opposed.
You guys have it, motion carries.
Treasury report is noted and report.
All right. Under personnel, does anyone have anything they'd like to vote on separately?
D3, just for clarification.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve personnel items A, B, C, E, F, G, and H?
So moved, Mayor Brennan.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Steve Rivers, second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve items D1 and 2?
So moved, Mayor Brennan.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes have it, motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve item D3?
So moved, Mayor Brennan. Second, General Brennan.
Great. Any discussion?
Yes, maybe there was, check if you don't mind. This, curricular supplemental hire, is this something that we've done every year in this program for the summer?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. That's all I wanted for that fact.
I have a question.
Ms. Bayless?
Do we know how many teachers we're gonna need for that particular, item?
Fund 6 are identified.
So we identified 6 at each of the grade levels at elementary. So this year, their specific focus is going to be on the new ELA and the science. Excuse me, and then we're also going to work on some math as well.
So it'll be 6 teachers total or 6 per grade level?
6 per grade. So some of them may come in to work on ELA, others might work on the science, while others might be doing math, or if they're like K1-2, they might be coming in to work on a little bit of all 3 of those during the summer.
And is this to help the actual students, like this kind of like a summer school, or is it?
Well, it's the teachers getting the new resources and going through those and doing some planning and looking at all the alignment for the standards and the teaching sequence throughout the school year. There's a lot of their pre-planning and curricular work over the summer.
And where's this, money gonna come from to pay for it?
Our professional development budget.
We already have a budget. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. You guys have it, motion carries. All right. Are there any items under CCNP anyone would like to be pulled?
D3.
Can I have a motion to approve items A, B, C, D1 and 2, and E?
So moved, Wayne Sullivan.
Second, General Brennan.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. You guys have it, motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve item D3, policy D15.3, use of generative AI in education?
So moved, Mayor Brennan.
Second?
Steve Rivers, second.
Any discussion?
I had some, but I think Donna was trying to bring in.
You have discussion, is there?
I do.
Okay.
So I was wondering, in regards to this particular policy, a new policy that we have, where is the accountability in the policy?
In what respect?
Well, in respect of just the overall portion of the policy, that there's no accountability in there, like,
Ability for whom?
So it will tie back to our 815, which is our AUP policy. So if you're speaking to, I'm not sure when you're saying accountability, what exactly you're referencing, but we do have an acceptable use policy for people who misuse devices, tools, social media, like it runs the gamut, our policy 815.
so that's gonna be a whole separate, that's currently a whole separate policy? Is there any reason why we didn't, like, put any of that into, 815.3?
It's a subset, it's like,
It's a sub, yes.
yeah, it's 815.3, it's like a subset of that policy. So it's dependent on the disciplinary actions that can be imposed by the acceptable use policy.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
Opposed.
The ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Yerger, ACTI report?
Okay, I had the privilege to go to a NOCTI, it was a field test with the ATCI students within the criminal justice students that were actually performing a real-world test on site observation and memorization. And Hotel Gettysburg opened up their third floor and made rooms available. And the Borough of Gettysburg also provided parking for all the testees and the administrators to be able to perform this test. Had law enforcement and credible testers and the school administrators and staffs overseeing that department. And they went in there, and these kids went into a real-world environment, and it was just amazing to see. It was awesome. And it was a kind of a surprise to them in the fact that they wanted to see where they were at. It was like a real-world test. And so they went in, and they did a good job. And it was amazing. It was awesome. It was able to see off the school campus, in the community cooperated. They actually made facilities available, and it's just a good look to the community with the Technical Institute working in the community, and it was really an awesome, and I'm hoping to be able to go on other testing when they do different, whether it's culinary, whether it's, that's on-site type stuff, but then you've got, allied health, they go off-site, we do shadowing, so it was really neat to see, and that was an opportunity to do that. It was not good.
Thank you. Dr. Berryman's going to give an update for Dr. Wood.
Yes, so as you heard a couple of the principals mention, we are starting PSSAs tomorrow, so a lot of prep going into that. ACES held a pep rally parade today, so I went out to see that, and it was really exciting to see K-1-2 students had little banners they were flying, and they made signs. I know some of the teachers are having parents write their child a letter to read tomorrow before they take their PSSAs. I've seen that in a couple of different grade levels. And then some other teachers do some other things. So it's just neat to see that. I think Kara might have said it where, Ms. Glass said it, where it's keeping it positive in front of the kids without putting undue pressure and anxiety on the kids. So I think they do a really great balance of that. So I'll be out in the buildings tomorrow and the next few days as they're getting started, and then in a couple weeks up with Dr. Becker when we get Houston started. So a lot going on there. As you heard the girls kind of allude, we are getting into like end of year celebrations. So keep an eye on your calendars. We'll have the FBLA banquet, FFA banquet. We have a couple of inductions. Spring concerts are coming up. Baseball, softball will be starting to wind down here. So just keep an eye out for the different banquets. Prom's coming up on May 2nd. All of that. They also mentioned all the administrative assistants. Everybody knows you can't run a school district without your administrative assistants, and that goes for all of us there at district office too, everybody out in the building. So we thank them and just want to recognize them for Administrative Assistance Day this coming Wednesday. And that ends the report. Yes?
Can I just add just one little thing?
Sure.
The wonderful greenhouse that the high school students have,
Yes.
that they've been working on really hard. I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that May 1st, I believe, is the first day that they start selling their plant sale.
That sounds accurate.
I think, I'm pretty sure it's May 1st and possibly 2nd. So, I actually went and toured the greenhouse, and it looks beautiful. They've done a fabulous work. The plants look really healthy, and I'm sure that they would really be a much better purchase from our high school students than any local greenhouse.
I already started my order.
So, just wanted to put it out there.
Any questions for Dr. Berryman? Thank you very right, items D through F are noted. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Your second? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed say no. You guys have it, the motion carries, and we are adjourned.
I missed somebody's The first CCTV, I was trying to write all the letters. They were approved. Oh, I was